Wow. Yeah, not a lot of people. Little switchback, you know, you don't want to get gusted. Allan, KARL, World Rider, greetings, checking in here from Crete. We're in the town of Hania. And it's an old town. You can see the old lighthouse out here behind me. And one thing about these old towns, as we see throughout Europe, is you can't get your motorcycle in here. So a bit of a crazy thing, because the GPS is telling me to turn, and of course they've got the roads all blocked off. I had to find my hotel, which is about 300 yards from the actual place I put my motorcycle. I couldn't carry everything, so I'm always nervous about that, leaving stuff behind, but it's a safe place, but I do got. Okay, check out the view from my room here. Another perspective of Hania here on Crete. It's crowded out there, too many people, frankly, and I still have to go back and get the rest of the things off my bike and then cover it for security. I'm only here for one night. Tomorrow, I'll ride. A few days later, I'll come back here and check out this place better. But for tonight, I got some pretty good digs here. What do you think? Okay, let's head back to my bike and make sure all my stuff is still there. Hup, there's Doc. Legendary. Okay, let's get this stuff. Go out on the town. Okay, this is Doc. I made it. It's a little precarious on a hill, but nobody took anything. What do you think? I'm gonna take this bag off, get my laptop, cover the bike, and first night. And come on, let's do this. Come on, let's do it. I'm not the only one who had the idea of coming here. Although, this was kind of a last minute, if you will, idea. I was supposed to be in Cyprus. But here we are in Crete, in the old town, 8:30 on a Sunday night, and it is hopping. Perhaps a little too much. I mean, it's not Barcelona or Amsterdam or Rome, but a lot of people out here. But a little bit about Old Town here as we scan around. This dates back to the 16th century. This is the Venetian port. So the Venetians built this part of town anyway. While the history of Hania and Crete dates back to the Neolithic period, followed by the Minoans, the Romans, the Byzantines, even the Arabs, and for some 400 years, beginning in the early 1200s, the Venetians. It was the Venetians who fortified the great city of Hania to prevent attacks by pirates and other aggressors. But they also greatly improved the harbor, the port here, and built these massive shipyards to service that Venetian fleet. Eventually, the Ottomans conquered the Venetians, who after another 300 or so years were finally kicked out by the Greeks. And this, and the rest, as they say, is history. Welcome to Hania. Greetings from Hania, the old port, the old Venetian port here in Crete, and I'm just getting ready to take off. It's like 5 o'clock. I got about an hour and a half ride over a couple mountain ranges and through a plateau. And it's been kind of a lazy day. It's been really hot. I mean, just having this suit on, I'm not putting on the pants. You know, it's just a short ride. There's a lot of switchbacks. It looks like a really good road, but we'll see. Last night, great. I met these two French ladies at the restaurant I was eating at. We shared some wine, met the winemaker, and great night, but a little too late maybe. And that's why I kind of had a lazy day today. Yeah, it was a crazy night, but these ladies were fun, and so was the sommelier. The food, oh my God, that fish, basically cooked it on a plate and then poured all that delicious sauce with lots of course, butter. We had a spectacular time, and I definitely will be connecting with these ladies again when I return. There was plenty of wine, and of course, the Chipro. Always in Greece, the Chipro. Yeah. But let's get on. We're going to go to the south side of the island, looking over at Libya. Stay tuned. Okay, well, checking in here with my friend over at BP. That's right, British Petroleum, here in Greece. It's the first gas stop. You know, I came right off that ferry yesterday, and the reserve light came on, so this bike had been sitting for 3 years, nearly 3 years, there in Athens, and I guess didn't have any fuel in it. Or somebody went joyriding. I don't know. But we just put in about 31 euros. That's 12.86 liters. There you go. Okay, I pulled off on the side of the road here to go ahead and get the camera set up, get the audio going, and so we can start vlogging. I'm going to take you over these mountains to the south side of Crete. Let's go for a real fun ride. Maybe we'll meet some people too. Allan, KARL, World Rider. Checking in here. Okay, hey, before I start up this motorcycle, listen to the cicadas. They're actually now a little bit tame just as I stopped here. Ever since I've been riding, you know, through this region, the cicadas are louder than the motorcycle. I mean, it's like I almost can't hear the motorcycle engine. I mean, if you can believe that. So we're going over this mountain range. I got some fuel. When I get there, I'm going to get in the water. That's for sure. Fire up the engines. Okay, we are cruising. This should be a pretty spectacular road. I don't know what kind of shape it's in, but we're going to find that out now. See how this audio sounds too. I haven't done the test on Doc. You know, Doc has got a bit louder pipe, if you can hear it. Of course you can. But inside the helmet, it should be a little bit quieter. I'm not wearing my earplugs. I usually always wear my earplugs. And today, just because the GPS volume seemed to be up, there are the bugs. Good thing I got this thing down. The GPS didn't seem so loud, and I was afraid I'd miss a cue, because the whole old town of Hania, that Venetian port town where I spent the night last night, is it's a big old town, so it's pedestrian only. A lot of big pedestrian ways, a lot of shopping, real crowded last night as well. You can see the mountains ahead of us. Look where we're going. We're going over those guys. Navigating that town, you know, there's a lot of one-way streets. There's a lot of twists and turns. You know, you make one wrong turn like I did last night, and I ended up on a dead end, and it was very trying to do the turn, you know, the U-turn, so to speak, to get out of there. Dude, my motorcycle is tall, so I can't have both of my feet flat on the ground. I am on my tippy toes right now. Oh, shit. Okay, now I'm in a bit of a jam. Okay, this is where not being able to put your feet flat on the ground really hurts. I'm at this dead end, and I've got to talk about a multi-point turn. I'm on tippy toes. I've got sandals on. I don't want to drop this thing. Look, there's no room. Look how close everybody is. Here we go. Because then you get another car who's another tourist or traveler that's following their GPS, and frankly, the Apple GPS to get to my hotel, I didn't realize that
that there's no cars allowed in that old town. So we got to get with Apple on that. I don't even bother with the Google Maps because, as I mentioned earlier, that they are just notoriously delayed. I can never figure out if I'm supposed to turn here, here, or here. But anyway, we're doing... I kind of waited, a couple of things that factored into today's lazy day. I was up pretty late last night. I mean, literally, I think I walked into my hotel at 3:30 a.m. Receptionist guy, I walk in, I think he might have been snoozing a little bit, because who comes in at 3:30? I don't know. Anyway, he says, what time would you like breakfast tomorrow? And I'm like scratching my head, and this last thing I was thinking about was breakfast, so all I wanted to think about was sleep. I had breakfast at 9:30, and I met two French women who live in Switzerland, both working for pharmaceutical companies. We sat around, and then I walked home. It was, it's about not even a mile to my hotel. So here we go. We got the twisties climbing. I mean, the road is in great shape. Look at the pavement. It's beautiful. We just got to pay attention that everybody says that the Greek drivers, the Cretan drivers, don't use their mirrors. Ah, look, my new pavement ends right here. Still looks pretty good, though. So I'm not sure exactly what the mountain range is called. I'm just getting my bearings. I'm going to be on Crete for a couple weeks now. Everybody says that the south side of the island is really spectacular. So this little town that I'm going to, there's not a lot of infrastructure. I mean, it's going to be sleepy. And Hania has got packed with tourists, so I'm sure there's going to be people there, but it's only a handful of hotels, a couple beaches, and there's one kind of remote beach that the lady was telling me at my hotel that I should take a boat to get to because it is beautiful. So maybe, if not tomorrow, on Wednesday, before I leave here, I'll do that. But we'll see how it goes. I'll get connected at this hotel. And, look at this. Hey, at least there's some guardrails. Everybody says the roads are real bad in Crete, and I asked about this one, and this could be one of the best ones. I just don't want to have some psycho Cretan guy be passing somebody. I mean, here I am on the national road, and it's a motorcycle, so it takes up only part of the lane. So these drivers are sitting around saying, pulling right up next to me, like, oh, we could put two vehicles in this lane, even though it's a one lane each direction. So I was like, what the? Looking over, I mean, literally, I could almost touch the car. That's how close he was. A couple times. It's nice that there's not a lot of cars. Okay, I got 18 miles of this. That's what Siri, or my little Aussie GPS prompter, tells me. There's a group of 3 cars. Big traffic, I guess. It's after so long of not being on a motorcycle, which, for those of you who have followed me, watched a few of my practice runs out there in San Diego, know that I was a little apprehensive. Now, you'll see this is a little chapel right here. Now, I don't think it's because somebody died there, but it's very possible. But the Greek Orthodox religion, they're very religious. You see even in, like, rest areas, a little chapel like that obviously represents what they would love to have there as a larger big chapel. But I'm looking up at the road, and you can see it carving through that kind of red and white. Maybe that's some limestone up there. This looks all volcanic right over here. Look at this. Over here, we're in the Crappy Basin. The Crappy Basin. Okay, so it says 38 kilometers to the town I'm staying in, which is something like Spakia. We'll get the pronunciation down. Whew. Get some air in here. Little rock slide happened there. Yeah, so last night, let's just kind of circle back to my old conversation on French women in their early 30s. Beautiful. You know, we closed that restaurant. I mean, I didn't actually sit down to eat. I went there at about 9:20, 9:30 almost. And so, figure I was starting eating at 10. And they don't rush you. You know, they give you the menu, and it's almost like you gotta trip up to have you come take the order. It was a very nice restaurant, really amazing wine list. The wine list was a Bible. I mean, it was this thick. I should have taken a picture. I'm gonna go back there for sure. There's a doggy. Oh no, those are some goats. We got some goats. Didn't even see those guys come up from behind me. Yeah, so by the time I rolled into my room, I was definitely buzzed. And I literally woke up at 9:33. It was really funny because I didn't have an alarm set or anything. I forgot to put my phone on the charger. I was still wearing my watch, which was dead. It was a night that was supposed to be early because I knew I would be doing this road the next day. So I really took my time. It was so hot today. It was 93 degrees. Some little thing. Oh, look at this. Looks like there's a fortress over there. It's a valley. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's an old fortress. Got the War Museum. 1941, it's a World War II museum. I am so later than I thought I would be coming here. But I will be there for sunset, and I probably will be in that water. Now we wind down, and then wind back down there, and then that's where we'll see the sea. The Libyan part of the Mediterranean. So Crete, I'm told, is about these little villages like where I'm going. A little beachside village. Hania is a town. It's not a city really, but hey, I saw an H&M there, a Starbucks. So it ranks. It is nice when I go into these shady parts. It's really nice and cool. And it's getting later in the afternoon. And, you know, it's funny when I asked the receptionist at my hotel, I said, I think I'm just going to hang out a while and wait for it to get cool. And she says, cool? She says, yeah, maybe around 8 o'clock. And we're pushing towards 8. I mean, I think my arrival is set to be around 7:30. Let's switch the camera around. Hey, here's another, look at all the goats. Hey, goaties. There's another one. Don't come out and run into me. My pipe is so loud they're scaring them, I'm sure. Somebody said I gotta have some goat. Now they got great goat cheese here, right? Feta. But there's goat meat. We're sort of starting to climb. It's rocky. It's a bit arid right now. You know, this is more arid than it was on the other side of this valley. Okay, so there's the Imbros Gorge. But I'm not going to go in there because I'm pushing on. But that's definitely a stop on the way back. You see this glow ahead of sun. Long line of cars. Okay, so now as you gaze up that way, well, let's not do that because I got another switch back here. There's the gorge. It kind of goes, I can see the sea. There's the Libyan Sea. You know, having not ridden this motorcycle in so long and packed with what I've got, you know, which is, you know, I mean, it's not a huge amount, my clothing, my computer, my cameras, all the other... Oh, the wind's coming through here. All the other technology stuff. But, you know, it's always the first few days of riding. It's like, wow, this is pretty heavy. You know, the bike handles different. Now, there is a tunnel. There's a little road that goes around that, so I'm assuming that's because of a large truck that might not fit, like right there. So somebody can take the... But this is a tunnel. And there's the other one. Exactly what I saw on the satellite. It was like a little snack bar there. There is the Libyan Sea, guys, up. And there's Franco Castello over there. Franco Castello. My place is a little closer. I don't know. We're going to see what the hell's going on here. Now we're going to make our way down. Switchback City, yes. Oh, wow. Look at this. A little vertigo. Yeah, and of course, once we cross over that little ridge there, I'm getting the wind. Yeah, look at this. This is fun. Just take it easy. Wow. Check this one out. That's a really good vertigo test. Wow. Whoa, strong wind. Strong wind. Strong winds. Strong winds. Get a little vertigo. I mean, not dizzy. I mean, I guess it's dizzy. It's just kind of like, whoa, not affecting my riding. I mean, I might not ride as fast or aggressive as I would without the vertigo, but maybe that's a good thing, right? Nice one. Wow, look at this. This is pretty cool. What a great road. That water is looking good to swim in, doesn't it? Gotta do some swimming. Oh, as hot as it was today, man. I mean, I was just soaking. I went into that one cafe, and I swear to God, I had a half a gallon of sweat on my face. Here we go. Okay, little vertigo stuff, but wow. Whoa. Okay. I did a little whoopsie-doo there. Be careful, Allan. The wind is blowing me. Look at this. Clearly strong winds. That was a gust. That was a gust, because now it's kind of quiet. Wow, it's really blowing me. Whoa. Yeah, it's gusty. Really gusty. Not Patagonia gusty, but it's certainly gusty. And it's going to be challenging, because when you slow down to make this this little switchback, you know, you don't want to get gusted. You don't want to get gusted. How's that sound? You don't want to get gusted by the wind. Gusted and busted. Trusted. Wow, look at this. Look at this. This is wonderful. I think being slightly hungover contributes a little to the vertigo. Look at the shadow of me on the road. Always fun. It's really the confidence that ends up being the biggest impact on me with the vertigo. Little VW Bug with the top down. That's the way you do this. really curious how many people do actually come out to here. I mean, we obviously saw a big, bunch of buses. I mean, that was a lot of buses. Woo, look at this. Now we get into the kind of the bad part of the road. That's where they tell me there's a goat. Yeah, they're kids. They're kids. Really small little guys. Making some good cheese, I'm sure. We're gonna find out about this. There's the gustiness. Wind! Say, whoa, I'm being blown. Wow, look at this. The Libyan Sea, and over there. Could that be? Okay, she's prompting me. Wow, look at that. That's where I'm going. Going in that water. Looks like somebody's building a high-rise. Or they built a high-rise. What the hell's that? I guess it's an apartment. Maybe it's a hotel. Cafe. Okay, so this is the roundabout? Okay. Huh. What's he doing? You can go down here. Okay. Hello, is this the Hotel Libyan by the Sea?
This one, the blue one, yeah.
This one in here?
Yeah.
Where do you park?
Near to the there.
Yeah.
Just put it there for the moment, and they will tell you where the parking for the hotel is.
Okay.
Yeah. The hotel is this one, the blue one.
Okay.
They have their own parking, but I don't know what it is.
Okay. I can't stay here for a minute?
Leave it for a minute, but put it a bit
Okay.
inside.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
How many kilometers?
About 160,000. over 80 countries.
Amazing.
Okay, I made it. Let's check this place out. Anyway, Allan, KARL, World Rider, checking in from the Libyan Sea here in Spakia, Crete, Southwestern Crete, kind of a remote area of Crete. Not a lot of people visit.
it's not on the main track. There's, in Hania I met French, I met Swiss, I met Americans, and it's very crowded. Here, it's pretty chill. I think largely a lot of Greek tourists, maybe even Cretan tourists. I don't know. It is a hot day, pushing 92, 93 degrees here in Spakia. It's actually called Spakia, but the region is called Spakia. I guess it's kind of like a province, maybe a county, maybe a state, something like that. I can't tell. There's a lot to learn here in Crete. But one thing that doesn't take much learning is when it's hot, you hop in the sea. And in this case, sort of the Mediterranean Sea, but this little section here south of Crete is we are in the Libyan Sea. So as we wind down my last night here in Spakia, another dip into the wonderful Libyan Sea. The beach isn't sandy here, it's stony. It's a little stony on the feet here, but it's okay because the water is so cool. But the rocks above the waterline are aching hot. Have you ever heard of those old massage treatments where they put the hot stones on you? Well, you got them right here. Take your pick. That's us exploring Crete. Yeah.
Tune in to episode 5 and we'll explore a lot more of this island.